Hi guys, I would like to introduce you to today's panel. First we have Gabriela Antošová, who is the Erasmus coordinator for University College of Business in Prague. Second we have Vlastimil Válek, who is a professor in Masaryk University in Brno and also a member of the Chamber of Deputies of the Czech Parliament. And third we have Professor Boris Popesko, who is the Vice Dean of University of Tomáš Baťa in Zlín. Welcome guys.
Hello.
Welcome. Hello.
Today we're going to talk about education in the Czech Republic, and the panel is focused on international students. So I'm going to start with you, Gabriela. How many international students come to the University College of Business, and what is their experience?
University College of Business in Prague has got approximately 25% of foreign students charged in the bachelor and master studies. That is from the total amount of 7,500 students. So we are really proud to invite.
So 25% of international students, and how are they managing? How was the experience? Coming to Prague and enjoying the life and studying here.
We normally inviting non-European students to our bachelor program degree of tourism and also to the aviation transport of services.
Okay.
And they are normally experience the normal life as in other countries.
Very well. So how is it different, Boris? Because you have experience from Prague and from Brno and from Zlín. So how is it different living in Zlín than living in Prague? Because we heard in Prague it's quite fun to study. And
thank you for the question. Our university is located in Zlín, which is quite a small town with population around 75,000 in the eastern part of the Czech Republic. So the international student feels somehow like in a village.
Okay.
So it's also, I need to mention that the living costs are somehow lower than when you live in Prague, because the prices of the accommodation and maybe the services, the food is a little bit cheaper. So we are also attracting a lot of international students, mostly from the Asian and African countries, but we are mostly focusing on the master and PhD study programs. Also, we plan to open and put much more effort in attracting the students for the bachelor degree program.
Okay, so in Zlín it must feel like a very big family. The students living together.
Yes, yes, they are. We have. Beside the full-time students, we have a lot of Erasmus students, which is a mixture of the European countries. Mm-hmm. So I think that students enjoy it very much. So they are making different parties and different events, and I think they like it.
Okay, and third, you teach in Brno, but you've also taught abroad, and you have a huge academic experience. And what's so special about Brno? Why should international students focus on that city?
So Brno is not so big city. It's a relatively small city. Nevertheless, it is one of the biggest student city in the Europe. Okay. Perhaps. There is extremely modern campus, and if I compare with different campuses in Europe, overseas, the campus is fully comparable with this in Tsukuba, Tsukuba University City in Japan. So there is around the campus something like campus square, where is supermarkets, where is some facilities for sports and so on. There is also a research center around the campus. So if the students are in the Brno, the population is three times higher like without students.
Okay.
Perhaps 70% of people in Brno are teachers or students.
That's very interesting. It must be, very young city then.
Yeah, it is. It is. The Masaryk University is second biggest university in Czech Republic. It's old university, relatively old university, and because it is near to the Slovak and Austria, there are a lot of foreigners.
Okay.
Not only from Slovak, but from different European countries, and there is a lot of people from also US, but also from New Zealand, from China, from Japan, from India, and other countries.
So you're saying, there is a lot of international students. How are they handling, Czech Republic? What's their experience when they come, to Brno and, they see it for the first time? There is a weird language they never heard anywhere else, I imagine.
it seems difficult, but it's not a true reality, because we have a lot of these students, also PhD students, and there are some research facilities around the campus and university. So this is a reason why the English is the most common language in the campus and in the university and around the campus. So it is easier to discuss in English like in Czech in Brno.
I imagine. Is this the same experience
It's
you
really
had?
interesting for us as well, because we have students from United Arab Emirates and also from Russia, from Kazakhstan, and from many countries all around the world. And for us it's very interesting to know that many students would like to study Czech language. This is really interesting, and I think that it's very important to do that, because as we are going to the other countries, for example, to the Spanish speakers countries, or to another countries as well, so we have to know the most important foreign language. And it's most common to know Czech language as well. So
is it hard?
we are
for,
trying to explain them, and also to show them experiences from Czech Republic in Prague, in the culture heritage, and also in the traditional food. So they are experiencing also svíčková, and they are really like Czech beer as well. So yeah, and wine, Czech wine in Moravian, South Moravian, we experienced their Czech wine as a red or wine, like white wine. So I think that in general, the tourism all around the Czech border countries, it's a very important thing for all foreign students, because they could experience the border with Poland, border with Austria, or with Germany as well. So we are trying to do a lot of tour guides all around the Czech border, so we could visit also Brno or Zlín, as Baťa's Zlín. So Tomáš Baťa is very famous historical man all around the world. When I was in Colombia, there Colombian students know, if I ask them about Czech Republic, what do you know about Czech Republic? So first, Czech beer and Tomáš Bata.
Those are pretty good references. To be perfectly honest, I think that's a good way to introduce the country. But how hard is Czech language, do you think, for foreigners to actually learn and to then study? And
yeah, it's somehow hard. I must say that in Zlín the situation is a little bit different, because it was quite a dramatic change in the last decade. Because 10 years ago, when you go to a restaurant in Zlín, it was unable to even to get a menu in English, because the people there were not so used to meet foreigners. But I think that during the last 10 years, when the number of the international students rose dramatically, I think that also the people in the town get used to it, and they are now much more ready to talk in English and so on. Language is always a problem, because, for instance, we have quite a lot of Vietnamese students, and for the Vietnamese, it's especially hard. One colleague of mine has a wife, she's from Vietnam, and he told me that after 5 years he is not able to speak Vietnamese. So I know that this language problem may arise by it, but I think that English today is something like a Latin.
Yeah,
of the
I think it
classical
depends
times,
on a person to person, right? You have people who learn within half a year or a year, and you have people who take longer periods of time, and it really depends how much effort you put in. But I think what we all can agree with is that in the past 10 years, it changed a lot, and everything is in disposal for English speakers, and everybody speaks English, and there is no problem to get around. What's your experience in terms of how many people want to actually stay here, want to progress in the educational system?
Yeah, it is a really interesting question, and this is what we want to have in the future, that the majority of the students stay mainly doing research in Brno and in Czech Republic. Therefore, is a lot of research facility around our campus. And perhaps the difference is that these students in Brno are mainly medical faculty students, national science students, and technological institute students. So it is focused to doing basic research.
So science and STEM and, you know, these kind of...
Stem cells, new development like special microscopes, and of course genetic, because Brno is Gregor Mendel and genetic. This is the main.
So if you're a student focused on science and engineering and programming or, you know, math, then, you know, Brno is the place to go, because then there is a lot of support in terms of the sciences and everything else, even financial support and, you know, staying and everything else, right? But I think that the situation is very much the same in Prague. I mean, there is a huge involvement and investment into the future of the students once they want to progress, right?
It's really interesting because at University College of Business in Prague, we face a lot of interest of students for the main field of education, tourism and aviation transport services, and also in the university entrepreneurship and law in Ostrava as well, which is our partner university. Students normally study management, marketing, businesses, and also law. So they are interested in that all fields. So we are a multidisciplinary approach university.
But Boris, do you see a lot of people wanting to stay here, or do they, you know, go back home? Do they go back, you know, or do they go to other countries within Europe or to the United States maybe? Do most students stay here, work here, or, you know, set up a business with entrepreneurship class, or what's your experience?
Yeah, it depends, because, for instance, in our relatively small town, it's somehow difficult to get a job for the English speakers in companies, because there is so many headquarters of the international firms and so on. Because we are focusing to the PhD students, some of the PhD students also get some postdoc position at our faculty in the research. I think that much more experience is the Faculty of Technology, which is our university. They have they have also research center where there are maybe 70 or 80% of the people from the different countries. And yes, most of these students, for instance, from Vietnam or Ghana, wants to finally, after getting the PhD, go back to their countries, because with a doctorate from the European Union, they will be their career in their home country will go very well. So
absolutely.
So we will see in the future, when we will develop more the bachelor study program, if there will be opportunity. But Zlín was always an entrepreneurial town, so we said we must found our own business.
Yeah, but you know, Vlastimil, in Brno, it's the new Silicon Valley, not only in the Czech Republic, but in the region, right? Mm-hmm. So you have companies like Microsoft and Skype and IBM and, you know, many more that are, you know, growing within the region, but also, you know, domestic companies such as Avast or Alza or whomever else, setting up centers, you know, not only customer centers, but also research and development. And I think that the local government as well as the university are attracting a lot of people, you know, to these facilities.
Yeah, the local government started 15, 20 years ago, but 15 years ago they started very deeply support local research. And there was a lot of startup programs for some project. And aim was to build something like Silicon Valley, focused to nature science and technology science, and to use our foreigners, our students from different countries as a new, young, active, powerful researchers in this team.
How's it going?
Very well. I think very well, because it is independent on political representant, because all these political parties are ready to support this development. So there is SATEC, ICRC, there is different research centers, and the cooperation with big European research centers is really deep. So, and this is a reason why it's in fact impossible interrupt this process.
Right. So if I'm an international student, right, and I come to Czech Republic to study, you know, a bachelor degree and then maybe go on to do a master's or whatever else. So I guess that the door is open, right? I can study the master here, I can study the master abroad, I can do, you know, the research here or research abroad. The door to Europe is pretty much open, correct? So basically, how many of your students actually go abroad after the school, after they finalize the degree?
We normally face the same amount as incoming and outgoing students.
Okay.
So we are trying to be in the equilibrium of that all. And yes, I think that it's very important to maintain this kind of exchange of European countries and non-European countries, outgoing and incoming students, because that is the whole process developing that higher educational system.
Absolutely.
And also that international experiences of students, because for their future professional career it's really important to experience that internationalization processes.
Absolutely, and I think that also the international students who come to Czech Republic can go then on Erasmus, correct?
Yes, of course, and also without Erasmus they could come because they are really invited.
No, right, but once they're here, then they can.
Oh, once they're here, the foreign student as well. Once inscribed in our programs, they could also go abroad as an Erasmus student, outgoing from a university, the College of Business, or another home institution from Czech Republic as well.
So, how many students do you think take advantage of this, of the international ones? They go to France, do they go to Germany or England or Spain if you want some sunshine?
Yes, I must say that in the recent years we have maybe more places for the students to go abroad, and then there is interest. So we somehow need to motivate
students to go.
encourage and motivate the people to go abroad. But anyway, for the incoming students, I think that usually what works is that they are getting the good references. So some of the students who came to Erasmus decided to join the master degree program and then later join to PhD program, or they give the good references for their friends in their home countries. So we have a very good experience with these, let's say, reference system.
I understand. And in terms of not only going abroad on Erasmus, but actually spending, the leisure time. I mean, students obviously come here so they can travel around because the region is very, very much central. So I guess that you're the most traveled one of us because you've spent a lot of time abroad and, lecturing at other universities. And I think that Czech Republic is very special, in how close it is to other countries as well, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, Czech Republic is central, and there is very easy by train, bus, or a plane to travel abroad, and it is easy to be in the all big cities during one day. So, and because I am a medical doctor, so I was a chief of academic senate of our medical faculty previously, and the students which study medical faculty are foreigners. This is a little bit a different group, special group, because there is Erasmus, of course, but there is also IFMSA activities. It is activities over all the world, generally from US, but very strong in Europe. And these students are deeply involved in this IFMSA activity and also Erasmus. So they travel, not only share experience, but also eat excellent European food from different countries and drink very interesting orange juice in different European capitals.
Exactly. I mean, what else do you want from your studies, right?
Yeah, we are using this as a marketing plan, that we are saying that from Zlín you have 5 European capitals within 400 kilometers.
But it's true.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think that as Czechs we're very spoiled, right? Because for other nationalities to travel 2 or 3 hours is a normal, everyday occurrence. For us, it's just too far. So I don't think that as locals we that much take advantage of it. But all my international friends, when they come, they go to Berlin, they go all over the place.
When I worked in Japan, there was because I was overseas, everybody in Japan are overseas, all foreigners are overseas because it is island. And the question is, where are you from? From Brno. Oh, it's near from Prague, near from Vienna, Czech Republic, Europe. Yeah, how far it is from Paris? And for foreigners, the information how far it is from Paris, from London, is very important information. Be sure, that Brno, Zlín, and Prague is very close to Paris, very close to Vienna, and very close to London. So travel to the city is very easy.
And we take advantage of that, within GoStudy, because the students go actually, to Paris. They, go to different cities, to Germany and other countries around. So I mean, the students get to experience everything else and the leisure time, and I think that once you come to Europe, it's not only about studying, but it's also about the lifestyle, right? And it's very, very special. But coming back to the career, I mean, you're obviously studying, to pursue some career goals and, your higher aspirations. So what is the next step, right? So once a person graduates from the university, or even while they're working, is there a possibility of internships, or is there a possibility of part-time work? What's your experience, Vlastimil?
As I know, in our university, majority of PhD programs are also open for foreigners, English-speaking foreigners. Some doctors which can stay in Czech Republic and do some specialization, which are generally accepted in over all the world. So the doors are open for further research, for further work, and further study. We are really and deeply interested to invite all such a hard-working, clever students.
I imagine, Gabriela, I mean, your students come to do aviation and tourism. I think that those
Sometimes I feel that our students, once they come, they wouldn't like to go out. They are trying to come as an Erasmus incoming students, and after that their period is over, they are coming, Gabriela, please, could I extend my period for study or for traineeship, or how can I find my new job? And so
they fall in love
really
with Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Because we are really family school, like we have special individual approaches for them. So we are trying to help them with all requirements of visa. We are trying to help with an accommodation searching, something like they could ask us whatever they want. So we are for them here.
I understand. In terms of their career, so you have pilots and you have people who want to work in hospitality and in international relations. So do they get experience even when they are studying, or only afterwards?
We are offering also the career job center. So we're working with many entrepreneurs all around the Czech Republic, and also with many Czech companies. So it depends on their needs, so and also on their study and their professional career future. This is interesting also for me, because sometimes I really don't understand, because I receive many times a lot of emails for replying of my students from all around the world, and sometimes I do not know how they are interested to come to Czech Republic. As mentioned Vlastimil, I think that it's the same, that we are in heart of the center of Europe. So sometimes it seems that they would like only to transit. And after that they would like to stay. So,
so you lure them in, with all the promises, and then they actually fall in love with the Czech Republic and they want to stay. I mean, you're not in your approval, so I think that the situation is the same in.
Yeah, what I observe in recent years is that while 10 years ago it was very unusual if someone has a diploma from some foreign university, now it's very typical that for the top jobs in the top companies you should have a diploma from the different schools in the different countries. So it's very typical also for the academic staff, because one of the big problems of the Czech academia is that we fight against something which is called inbreeding, that you have all your diplomas from your own school, which is, for instance, forbidden in England when you need to have PhD from one school and go to work to other schools. So to have a more experience, more schools from different countries, I think brings you a great advantage in your future career.
I think you must agree on that.
Yeah.
yes.
Definitely.
So basically, once the student actually comes for a bachelor's degree to one university, they should strive to do a master's degree in some other school.
In research, in study, generally in research, a movement is the most important power. without movement is research impossible, and part of this movement are changes concerning universities, concerning studying programs, and so you need to get experience. If you are below 35, you have to travel. You must travel. You must spend majority of the time in different universities to compare quality of research teams, because if you want to do research, it is necessary.
Yeah. Absolutely, I absolutely agree. So you're a doctor, right? How is it different here than your experiences abroad? What's special for in the Czech Republic in terms of not only medical education but the whole system? Of
Concerning medical education, the system is same through all the world. There are zero differences between US, Europe, Japan, India, China. It is same. There are, of course, differences concerning some specialization, like tropical disease, are not so important for Czech. There are some limitations in Arabian country concerning gynecology and so on. It is clear. And it is not easy to learn about all skin disease in Czech.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, concerning the research, concerning the basic research system is fully comparable. There are same system concerning specialization. If you want to be a specialist after graduation, want to be surgeons or oncologists, the specialization is same in all the countries in the world. So the standardization in medicine is very deep. There are some exceptions, like in Russia, like in North Korea, perhaps, but generally it is same in the world.
So if I want to be a doctor, Czech Republic is a definitely good place to go and to study.
Definitely, because your diploma is accepted, fully accepted in European countries, in US, but in majority of countries in the world, including India, Japan, China.
So then I can take my diploma and move
definitely,
anywhere else
definitely.
and apply for a job.
Yeah, including specialization, you need to do only the language examination. So there are some exceptions if you want to work in Scandinavian countries or countries where is rest of doctors. You can speak English. In some countries is English accepted. I think in India also.
Okay.
Some of my colleagues are working. I worked in India only short time, but in Japan I was half year, and so on. English was common language in all these countries.
I guess this is the same, Gabriela, for your students, right? Once they graduate, they go abroad. They don't only stay in the Czech Republic, and they basically select where it's best for their career for the next step. Correct?
I think that that's the idea, to be more international, more digital maybe, and yeah, and experience that all foreign countries and cultures, and to know many things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boris, I mean, Zlín is very entrepreneurial and has a huge, history in this. So how many students you think they actually come? And you're also a vice dean for cooperation, with the private sector. So I'm interested in how many people want to start their own businesses and want to, be entrepreneurs themselves.
Yeah. So our university is considered to be as an entrepreneurial university. So it's our strategy, and our faculty was the leader of that, let's say, program on other faculties. We also found we have many also European projects for entrepreneurial education. So we have find out that we don't have to only teach how to be a good worker in a bank or something like that, but a good businessman. And it is also important for the let's say teams which are mixed across the faculties. So for instance, we have a special subjects which are open for all university students of all specializations, and these students can make the special teams where there is one student from the Faculty of Technology, one student from our business faculty, and third student, for instance, from the Faculty of Multimedia Communication. They can create these multidimensional teams which are really could be successful. So that's one of our mission. Yeah. Because we are not so lucky as a Brno that we have so many international companies, and I think that Brno is our greatest, let's say, danger in inviting the alumni and graduates. So we need to somehow not force the students, but motivate them to start their own business.
So it's the same thing. I mean, your approval. I guess in Brno you have the support of not only the private sector but also the universities of the whole entrepreneurship movement.
You're right. You're right. It's very important, and the support must be very deep, not only concerning private companies, research, university, but also concerning life.
Okay. What does that mean in practice? So,
Easy to get apartment, easy to have school or ground school for children, and so on and so on.
okay.
There are different ways how we support the young couples, young research, because we want to offer them good quality life in the best place for the life, which is Czech Republic, definitely.
Concerning, the support and everything else, I guess one of the biggest topics is, the visas and the whole immigration aspect of it. So as far as I understand it, if you're coming to an accredited program in the Czech Republic, you do get a long-term studying visa. Is that correct, Gabriela?
Yes, they will get the visa, but as you know, it differs according to country where they applied. Sometimes we face a lot of extension of time to get the visa. But in general, they get the visa and they could stay here as a temporary student, and after that they can extend their visa card for residence if they like. It depends on their type of study. If they are here only for the short period, so they could come as a tourist, and after that they could get the visa after that.
Is it hard to do it from a studying visa to a professional one, to the long term, or is it?
I think that it's easy.
Okay.
I also faced that same problem as I traveled to Latin America, and I think that if somebody wants to do that, they could do that.
Okay, that's very good news. And in terms of accommodation, I mean, is it hard or is it easy for the students to find it here and to just get around?
Yeah, so in Zlín it's not so easy because it's a relatively small town. So the offer of the apartments and residential buildings is not so big. So anyway, we need to offer the students our own dormitories. So we have one building which is just specialized on international students. They have a flat which includes equipment like a kitchen and bathroom and everything. And some of the students who stay longer usually go to the private apartments. So I think we are now almost on the 90% of the capacity. So if the number of the international students will grow dramatically, we must somehow help them to solve the problem.
Yeah, but we're ready for that, right? I mean, you mentioned that even if couples, in terms of research and in terms of more senior people come together, then the assistance of the universities and the research department is there, right?
It must be supported by city, by city hall. It must be supported by local country government, and it is supported. So,
That's very good to hear.
yeah, I think everybody knows, and we both, I think, agree that happy host, happy hostess.
Absolutely.
So happy student, happy teacher, and we want to have happy students.
That's great to hear. I mean, in terms of how do the students find it here in terms of transport, in terms of living, in terms of just quality of life? Do you hear many complaints about security, about travel, about public transport? What's happening in the daily life? Do you think that?
According to the information in our parliament, we discussed repeatedly that Czech Republic is the most safety country in the world. It is perhaps a surprise for some people, but it's true reality. It is very safety country. There is very easy to travel. The public transportation is very cheap for students, supported. So I cannot imagine any limitation concerning life, concerning study, concerning research doing in Czech. There is one more thing which is necessary to mention, that our English is not English, also not American English. It is European English.
Or Chinglish.
Chinglish. On the other hand, majority of people use English. So it is not like in Italy, in France, where it's not common that the students, English-speaking students, can communicate with staff, with everybody. Here, even if the quality sometimes is not so high, It's easy to communicate. English starts to be a really second language in Czech Republic.
That's very good to hear. And especially in Prague, I imagine. I mean,
About the transport.
you want to talk about public transport.
I heard about a very good entrepreneurship company, which is sharing the car for students.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of students are really appreciating this kind of service. This is a car sharing. And as you know, we have a very good transport lines as an underground metro and also trams, buses. Sometimes they are using also bicycles.
Okay.
So I think that the transport is very wide and very useful in the Czech Republic.
And, you know,
And also in Prague, yeah.
especially in Prague, you know, the English is not a barrier at all, right? I mean, you know, going through the center or, you know, just buying stuff and anything
And
else.
about security, it was a really interesting question of one my student from United States Emirates. She asked me, "Oh, wow, you haven't got any security in the metro. Why?" So I told her, this is a very safe place, so
We don't need it.
we don't need it. Yeah.
English is not a problem concerning the communication, concerning everyday life. Sometimes in Prague is Czech problem.
There's so many international people, you know,
Yeah.
that you cannot hear your own language.
Yeah, you are right.
My experience is that always there is something like a cultural shock for the students who come from that African or Asian countries and they're for the first time here, but usually within few weeks or few months it's okay. They sometimes I have like funny situations when, for instance, students from the Vietnam never seen snow before, and they came to school with the shorts and t-shirts, and there was like a -2 and there was snowing. So, but usually they are able to adapt.
They buy
very
the
quickly.
jacket quite quickly.
Yeah.
In each countries are some special surprising for students. I think the combination in Czech, this typical Czech cheese, tvarušky, with typical Czech drink, slivovice, and a sweetness on the end with poppy,
Yeah.
which is in some Asian country heroin.
Yeah, you know, a disclaimer, our puppies actually don't have that much, you know, opioids anymore.
I think that this word it isn't useful in general in Spanish-speaking countries.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that might not work. But, you know, in terms of cultural shocks, what are the experiences of the students, you know, that what are the expectations of Czech Republic before they come?
So it's very different because we have international students from different streams, and for instance, in these times it's also blocked by a little bit by the COVID, and also the visa problem because usually there is some delay between you accept the student, you enroll the students, but it takes several months until he arrives. So also the school must be ready for. That the students will not come in September, but they will come in December. Yeah. So the curriculums and the teachers must be ready for them and give the students the opportunity. Okay, I know you came 3 months later than it was planned, but I give you some extra work or some opportunity to finish it.
So you always adapt to the
Yeah,
student,
yeah.
have them overcome.
Yeah, and what is our experience? We have in Zlín something like a buddy system.
Okay.
Then when the new student come, he will be assigned to some more experienced students, and he will show him everything. So that's a buddy system. You are the new student from, for instance, Ghana, and you will get another student who is already 2 years here, and he will explain him in his own language everything. That's a very good thing.
We use same system, but the name in Brno for the system is PAP system.
Yeah.
Okay.
They take the new student to the pub and then explain everything.
See, that's accelerated system. In Brno we take 1 night, and in Zlín it takes a week.
Yeah, probably.
No, but I think that in terms of a leisure time, I think Prague is not behind because, you know, the international scenes, and there's a lot of expats here, and, you know, the people feel at home, you know, almost immediately and find their community, correct?
I think that we couldn't see any kind of difference between Zlín, Brno and Prague, because for foreign students, it's the city from the Czech Republic. So this is the more important thing as we are talking about. And their leisure time could be similar as in Prague, as in Brno or Zlín, in another city of Czech Republic. It could be very similar. And all the time is depending everything on the society.
Right. So do you see the society as accepting international students and welcoming them here in the Czech Republic and, showing the warmth?
Sometimes it's very difficult because, as you know, that from south located countries, when they are coming, they are facing a difference between a more openness society than Czech Republic, and if they are coming from north, that they are the distance between people is sometimes closer than the other distance in another country. But in general, the culture differences between human are not so wide.
Yeah, I mean, from personal experience, I mean, international students here actually appreciate,
They have to feel as home.
Exactly, how they feel at home within a few weeks. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
And the world is changing dramatically. I think that the globalization or internationalization is changing the society. The people in Zlín 10 years ago was completely different than they are now. Now it's very normal to see international students and people from abroad in the city center. No one cares.
Yeah, that's very good. If the overall society welcomes the people, I think they feel at home and they interact with everybody. Then it helps also with finding further education or work, within the country. So that's very.
Sometimes it's really funny if a Czech man could ask one foreigner, "Sorry, do you know where is this street?" Yeah, I can explain you because it's very easy. You can get there on straight ahead and on left side. That's it.
Okay.
Many people in Czech Republic are speaking also English, German. So I think that we are really in.
If you were to, sell Czech Republic to international students, I mean, what would be the, your marketing kind of a slogan? What would you tell the students, to come to Czech Republic because?
Okay, I'm not the marketing guy, but maybe this is a very open country and with many possibilities, and not expensive country, and a country in the heart of Europe. So come and we welcome you here.
Gabriela, what would be yours? What do you tell your international friends about the country?
If you would like to be an international, please come to Prague. You will see the Central Europe, and you can go where do you want.
Okay.
It's difficult to say. I spent a lot of time in different countries, in different universities, and I'm absolutely sure the best place for life, study, and doing research is Brno. Brno is part of Czech Republic, therefore Czech Republic is the best place for that.
I think that's a very high note to end the conversation, guys. I thank you very much for your time that took to talk to me today and, to discuss, for our guests, how is it to actually, study in the Czech Republic? What is the educational system and, representing your respective universities and institutions. So thank you very much. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
very
the
much.
invitation.
Bye.